This episode of the Spotlight Insider is brought to you by Teflon Radio, the official sound of hip hop and R&B lovers who live and breathe the culture. At Teflon Radio, we do more than play music. We create a space where artists, voices, and stories come alive. From the hottest new hits to timeless classics, interviews, and community updates, we're on it 24/7 to keep you inspired, entertained, and connected. The same energy is what fuels the Spotlight Insider, a show that puts the spotlight on visionaries, creatives, and the community leaders who are changing the game. So whether you're tuning in to catch a powerful conversation or just vibing out for some dope music, we got you covered. Download the Teflon Radio app now on the Apple App Store or Google Play, and keep it locked. Teflon Radio, where real music meets real stories. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy TeflonJohn coming to you courtesy of the I Am TeflonJohn brand. And on this edition of the Spotlight Insider, we have a wonderful foundation coming straight out of the town of Lynchburg, VA. And we have the Up Foundation. So I have two very special guests with me. So if you would like to introduce yourself, starting with you.
My name is Robin, and I am the admissions coordinator here at the Up Foundation.
My name's Randy, and I'm the board chair of the Up Foundation here. We just, trying to get in here, roll our sleeves up, and get to work.
Okay, so it's always nice to hear people in the community doing good. So let's start with it. So what is the heart behind the Up Foundation, and why did it start?
So we offer mental health and substance use services to youth and adults. We started off as an organization that offered primarily to youth. And then with some of the changes that happened in 2019 with COVID and everything, we opened up our program, and now we offer it to as young as they come and as old as they get. We go anywhere in that range. Yeah.
And I think kind of where I kind of came along, I don't really have a background in medicine, recovery, or any of that. As a financial advisor and wealth manager, my background's always kind of been in money. But then, when I met the Up Foundation and I saw that they were tasking themselves with addressing every avenue of recovery. They had a spiritual component. They had a physical component. They had, a living home. They had all these different things. And I was like, the only thing that I don't see is a financial component. Because when people are getting their, lives back together and getting right, back on the right path, finances are like a natural marriage of that. So I said, you know what? I could probably take some of the things that I do with, wealth management clients at my office in turn and show, the participants of this facility some of the same principles. It'll probably, be very advantageous for them, later on down the line. And it wind up like being a great marriage. So I said, well, I don't know everything that they know in, the medicine space. I'm going to bring it all that I have with the finance space and, just the recognition. So that's kind of my role in the facility, is just trying to, shed that light.
Okay, so it sounds like a well-rounded approach to trying to help people. So if you had to describe the Up Foundation to a person that's out there walking street, just out there, hadn't heard of you, but you had one sentence, what would you say?
We offer hope, healing, and recovery.
Okay.
And I'll piggyback right off of it. But I would say if it's one word, that maybe two would be diverse and communal.
Okay.
When I make this joke all the time. When I first joined the board here, which I was kind of hesitant at first because, I'm on other boards and stuff. I was like, I don't know. And when I joined, I came to our first little meeting, and I went home. I called my dad, and I was like, Pops, everybody up there talking about they love each other. Everybody, when they leave, like, they love you, I love you, they love each other. It's kind of weird to me. And that was, our first meeting. And then maybe like a year later, I found myself either getting ready to begin a board meeting, leaving a board meeting, or some kind of function where I was like, all right, y'all, love y'all, I'm leaving. I'm going home. Like, I'm saying it. So it's like that infectious, communal, family-oriented, just down-to-earth, diverse, no matter who you are. It's like nobody is a stranger when you walk in these doors. So, that element of family and that element of community is just so strong here.
Okay. So when we talk about the word recovery and people bouncing back, what is one of the most biggest misconceptions about that process, do you think there is?
Recovery looks different for all types of people. I'm a person in long-term recovery myself, although I have been told to my face, like during group, like, nah, that's not real. And then people get to know me, and then they kind of get to know my background and my history. And so recovery looks different. It does not discriminate. It does not care what the color of your skin, your age, your gender. It doesn't care about any of that, your socioeconomic status. And so we all come at it from different walks of life, but recovery is the process of change. It helps us to develop lives that are worth living, and that are better than we ever could have imagined before. And what's really cool about this organization is that most of the people who work here are in recovery themselves and are able to come at it from the perspective of like, hey, I want to walk with you.
Okay. So as far as the empowerment phase, what about you guys, or what about the Up Foundation makes people feel comfortable that they want to be a part of that, to say, hey, I have a problem?
I would say, just to piggyback off what Miss Robin said, it's the environment that they create, right? It's knowing that it's like a no judgment zone. It's like when you walk in these doors, you know that you're amongst people who understand. And just that level of understanding and creating, it's a buzzword. You hear that term all the time: safe space, a safe space, a safe space. And sometimes, I think to myself, is any place a safe space?
Mm-hmm.
But then when you walk in these doors, I mean, it's just the natural, calm, just patient, consistent level of support that they see here. They address everything. There's not just people in recovery, but their families. Like, I didn't realize how much of a job it is on the families to offer them support, because it's a lot of, family members that would like to know, hey, how do I better advocate? How do I help this person? How do I not enable? What am I supposed to do? Even though I'm not in recovery, what can I do from my perspective and my position to help the person? That did, a ton for me, just having friends and different people in life, to where it's like, okay, I can better help them by doing this, or being able to listen, understanding the right questions. So it's not just the participants, it's their families, it's literally every aspect of their lives that we task ourselves with addressing.
Okay. So as far as all the things that you guys named earlier, like all the programs and all your ways to help, what are the Up Foundation's top 2 programs? So you're 1 and 2.
What would you say, Miss Robin, are the 2? I would say definitely our counseling. We're doing, we've got family counseling. 8 to 80, I've seen people come in here. I've seen whole families, group. You've got almost every kind of mental health support that you can think of. And then on top of that, our sister company runs sober living homes. So we've got a men's sober living home and a women's sober living home that's under the Up umbrella. And that's another avenue where you may have somebody who would like to get clean, or they would like to start, but they have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to start, So just giving them a safe space and an environment that's conducive to recovery, to me, is, monumental for what we do. So I would say our mental health practice and what we do in this facility, as well as the sober living homes.
Okay. So, today, 2025, like the youth seems to be a problem now, and you're seeing it due to early access to social media, access to the internet, parents not being there. So what kind of impact have you guys made, and are you making in today's youth?
Our youth leader.
Yeah, so that's kind of my wheelhouse over here. We do a lot of different things. So when I started here, I started off as an intern helping with our summer youth empowerment camp. That's actually what we're in the midst of planning and implementing right now. We're about to start that next week. It goes from June 11th through the 27th. It's a day camp. It's out in Thaxton, but we transport from here and take them up there. The kids that are meeting us in Bedford, they can just meet us there at Thaxton. So that's a camp of about 40 students and then about 20 volunteers. We focus on our yoga curriculum, which is heavy on education, empowerment, and giving youth a sense of purpose. We want them to walk away feeling like, I matter, and also have a great time and have those memories that they can carry with them for the rest of their lives. So that's what we're doing right now. We also, during the full school year, we do one-to-one peer support. We do counseling and we do group services, which is, I think we're the only ones in the area that are doing youth recovery groups right now. We offer one out in Bedford once a week and one here in Lynchburg once a week.
Okay. So is there any plans to expand that to more counties?
Absolutely. Yes. We're working right now. want to be careful about how I say this. We have not signed things yet, but we're working right now on signing some things with different agencies. We do actively and consistently get referrals from the school systems, from DSS in all of the in the city and the surrounding counties. And I believe we've gone out we've had people come as far as from Farmville, but we do have a pretty strong program already present in Bedford and Lynchburg, and we have lots of people that want us to come and start offering in other places as well. So as we grow, that is something that you can plan to see is us being available in those outer counties.
Okay. You got anything to add?
Absolutely. I would just say, I always say this is like my catchphrase when it comes to youth. It's just like proactive versus reactive. Get in front of it first. A lot of times, as a young kid, you can feel unseen, you can feel unheard, you can feel like, hey, if I go down this road, who's checking for me? Why does it matter, right? But if I make you feel empowered, if I make you feel special, and if I expose you to other things, just when, you see these kids, their eyes light up when they see just other people that are doing things, because it's a lot of kids in this, in this community that have never been, past the bypass on 29. They've never been, further south than Foster's on 29. They've never been, further north than, probably Madison Heights, you know what I'm saying? So when you have a group of people that never leave, it's almost like I heard a wise person say, perception is reality. Yep. So if I can only see one option, then I only have one option. Yeah. But if you show me, hey, you can get a trade, you can go to school, you can, there's so many different things that you can do, then all of a sudden you'll start to naturally see their behavior start to contour to a different life, because they start to see, man, like I have to make these good decisions because I won't allow it to take me off my path. So I think that that's what we're doing great now with, bringing in the finance piece and other things, is showing them like, hey, you can work, you can make a lot of money out here if you so choose, but you have to be on the straight and narrow to truly receive, those blessings. So, that's what we're trying to do here.
Okay, so when you're talking about the youth, how important is it to be relatable? Where like, you may have a background of being open and honest about, things that you've done in the past.
Yeah, I would say, for me, that's kind of like my unique gift. Like a lot of times with kids, it's like, if they don't find the element of you that's like kind of cool, then they're not listening. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes like I'll try, like, which I have to be, suited for work most of the time. But like for summer camp, like I'm wearing sneakers, I'm, playing some of the music that they like. I'm being relatable so they know, like, I wasn't always like this stuffy person in this suit that's, running around crunching numbers and, managing money. Like before this, I was a 15, 16-year-old kid out here in the world with a bunch of knucklehead friends trying to, make my way in life. But the only thing that I did different was that even in the poor decisions that I did make, they still came with the chance and a choice the next day. Gotcha. What you see the youth doing nowadays is the decisions that they make basically nullify tomorrow, because they're the finality in the decisions and things that they're making. We bumped our head, but we always, it was nothing that you couldn't come back from. Yeah. So it's like, you'll never know. If you told me at 13, 14, 15, what I would be doing today, you would never know what you're able to pivot to. So give yourself the option. Don't make all these, poor decisions and sequester yourself to one form of life. Yeah. Leave your options open so you can have autonomy and pick and choose. So for me, my relatability is you can still be cool, you can still be fly, you can still whatever, while, walking the right path.
The Spotlight Insider is sponsored by the Up Foundation of Lynchburg, Virginia. They're hosting the Unlimited Potential Youth Empowerment Camp for kids ages 10 to 17 from June 11th to the 27th at the Thaxton Community Center. This camp is free and includes storytelling, healthy activities, a nature trip, yoga, games, and great mentors. Lunch and snacks and shuttle services are provided. To register, call 434-381-0258. Don't miss this chance to unlock your child's potential with the Up Foundation. Now back to your show. when you're thinking about going to the gym and working out, right? A lot of times it's hard to move weight by yourself, right? Sometimes you feel comfortable, you got somebody to actually spot you. So what does real recovery look like for someone that has a great support system?
Right. So here, what we offer is one-to-one peer support, which is where somebody who is a person in long-term recovery themselves, who identifies and who's comfortable talking about their experience in that world, we walk beside people and help them into that sense of recovery. We are connected with many, many other organizations in the area. So if we meet people where they're at. We determine what they need, and then we provide the help that we can. And for any area, like we don't do med management here, but we have connections within the community that are able to do that. And we talk to one another and we do what we can to get people the help that they need. And it's something like really different about that. There's something about, and going back to the youth part of things, we do that for our youth as well. And we do it in a way such that we do still meet them where they're at, even if we're a little bit older than them, we can still meet them where they're at and be like, hey, no, I mean, I've been in your shoes before. These are the choices that I made. We don't necessarily like tell you need to change the way that you're doing things. Yeah. We just tell them what works for us. And then we ask questions that help lead them to making their own decisions, but making more positive choices.
Absolutely. I would just say that the biggest thing that we do from a support level is understanding messengery and understanding where the word comes from, right? Like a lot of times somebody could say something to you, but if the message seems like it's coming from up here down to here, there's a disconnect. So they may, it might come from a teacher. It might come from a parent. But because of how the message is formulated, it might not be conducive to their immediate understanding. Yeah. So what we try to do is repackage that message, right? Repackage some of that and change some of our connotation, change some of our diction in the words that we use to put it into a form that's okay, that's more palatable, right? I would say one of the biggest things here is understanding the difference between, and I had to learn this, is understanding the difference between a sponsor and an advocate. Somebody who's advocating for you all the way around is calling, other facilities. They're, calling your parents. They're calling your family. They're literally tasking themselves with, entrenching every element of your life into their being so they can see to it that you've got support from every angle. It's not just, we're going to help you, get you some, a few meetings and get you an NA and get you out of here. No, this is from the beginning to the end. We'll meet, like my pastor always says, like, we're going to meet you where you're at, but we ain't going to leave you where you are. Yeah. Right. So, that's one thing that we stand by here.
Okay. So let's end with this, right? There's somebody watching this like right now, right? And they're thinking about, man, that's a great foundation. Like, hey, I would like to get involved in the community. I don't have the time, but I do have the financial backing, right? So what does a donation of $100 to $500 look like to you guys? And what would you do with that?
Absolutely. Any little bit helps. We appreciate it so much. But even a little bit for people who are fresh starting off in recovery can mean so much. Like even things such as clothes, toiletries, things like that can help somebody who's coming in off the street. Like, hey, I need recovery housing. I need to do this. That $100 can go towards, fees to start the move-in fees, costs to go get them some like toiletry items so they can, take a shower, get themselves situated, get themselves straightened out. Like I said, we're connected very well with other resources in the community to get them things, but the money really does help out so much because it can go towards any of those areas. And then we can kind of help fill the gaps with other places like the Clothing Connection with Parkview Mission. There are so many other resources in this community, and that's part of our job is being educated on what's available to people. So the money does help fill in all of those gaps where we're not able to find other resources.
Okay, so let's segue into our last point is what is the most memorable story that you guys have from actually seeing somebody come in and leave or either grow through the program through those resources and connections?
For me, my most memorable time with Up Foundation, probably my most impactful, was last year. We had our board retreat. It was like our first board retreat where we had it. What was it? Over there at the nice place where we had it. And it's, I'm gonna tell you before I get started, it's not a great feel good story, but it galvanized me, right? So this was my first time I was, ever in the board. So one of my friends, a dear friend of mine, we've been, best friends since we were young. And he called me and he was like, "Man, you working at a rehab place? How'd that work?" I was like, "What do you mean? How's it work? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm on the board there. I'm trying to, I do money, for a living." He's like, "Man, I've been thinking about going to rehab, but I don't think it's for me." I'm like, "Listen, bro, like, please, like, whatever you do, you know what I'm saying? Come here. They will help you and all of this stuff." And we got to talking about something else, and I didn't say nothing else about it. And 3 months from that day, I was lowering him into the ground at his funeral. He had overdosed. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I said, if nothing else, because of my friend Trey, because of his life, because of those things, I've got to task myself with fighting this in some way, shape, or form. Now, I can't save everybody. I can't fix everything. But if I could just save one person's mom from feeling how my friend Trey's mom felt and, one less funeral, then so be it. So for me, it wasn't so much of a feel-good moment. It was like a jarring, like, right then in that moment, I should have done more. I should have, you know what I'm saying? So now going forward in his legacy and anybody else that, has passed from substance abuse, we are galvanized, and I'm personally galvanized to keep going for that man and to keep going for that man's mother. So for me, my most memorable time was my first board retreat, having an opportunity, not enacting on that opportunity, and then dealing with the fallout. So I said, if nothing else, I'm gonna bring my friends and bring my people. And if they get up here and they decide that, it's not for them, whatever, okay. But I'm gonna advocate if I can, because I didn't that one time and it cost me one of my best friends. So,
wow.
We're gonna keep doing that for him.
Wow, powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For me, especially because I work primarily with the youth, I have seen kids come in. One particular sticks in my mind because she came in. She did not want to talk to me. She didn't know why she was sitting in this room and why this lady is talking to her. And she ended up going through her process, which included group home and having to go in and out of court and in and out of court. And she has completely blossomed as a child. She, like, hearing the reports that the school has to give, hearing her parents tell me, like, this is a different child than what we had when we started off with you guys. I don't take full credit for that by any means, but I do know that, like, having somebody there, and that's what I often tell some of these kids, like, I know that I wouldn't have made the same choices if I had some nice lady just telling me, like, hey, you don't have to do that. You can make different choices today, and kind of guiding me in that direction. Because sometimes, just to be honest, our parents are not the one. We don't want to listen.
Yeah.
I was hard-headed, and I wanted, if they told me to go left, I go right. Just because I was a rebellious kid. But if I'd had some nice lady just telling me, like, hey, you could make this choice instead, you can do this thing instead, and kind of cheerleading me on, I think my life would have probably gone a little bit different. So I try to be that person for these young people that are coming into my life. And I have so many other success stories, like, people being returned, like kids coming here that are in foster care. This week were returned to their father to live with him full time, and done with court, done with everything, and still wanting to come here and see us and celebrate with us, and still come here for services to get any kind of help that they need, whether it be just that transitional period or, to celebrate. So I really love seeing those success stories, and we see so many cases like that, and it's just so rewarding. I can't really articulate adequately like how amazing it is.
We're in a life-saving business. Like, I tell people that all the time, and they're like, they think it's hyperbolic, but I'm like, no, seriously. Like, if you come down here and see some of these examples, you come down, I mean, we have whole families come in here and leave different. I mean, you're hearing stories of families being put back together. You're having families of statistics, or you have the stories of statistics being lowered. I mean, if everybody wants to, clean up our streets and, clean up crime and, property values and everything that everybody's attached to, then why don't we address it? Right here is the crux of our problem. Let's get out here and address it. And, we're saving lives. We're putting families back together. We're cleaning kids up. We're cleaning adults up. And, we're doing really good things here. And, we tasked ourselves with no longer being the best kept secret, right? So this is that coming out party for what we're doing.
Well, it sounds great. Like I said, I appreciate everything that you guys do on the behalf of the community, on the behalf of Virginia. But I think that it's great that you guys are getting out. Now, as far as if someone has an issue or if someone wants to donate, how do they get in touch with you guys?
Our website is www.upwithrecovery.org, all spelled out. Our phone number is 434-381-0258. You are welcome to give us a call. Check out our website. Our website has enrollment links. It also has lists of all of our services and all of the things like that. But either of those, or if you're into emailing, you can email info@upwithrecovery.org.
Okay. Well, I appreciate having you guys. I appreciate you taking time out your busy day and your busy, schedules to sit down and talk. Like I said, it's just a great thing to know that people are doing great things in the city of Lynchburg. So, yeah. As I always say, it's your choice to actually be blessed, and it's one love, and that's the love of God. But I think as far as for this episode, if you know anyone, or if you know of anyone that is in need of help or struggling, please reach out. And if you do want to donate, if you do want to help, please reach out. And that's the end of this episode of the Spotlight Insider, where we highlight your brand with your story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right.